Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're continuing on our washi journey, and today we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're actually going to wind up making a shaker card. Okay, so let's dive on in. I was trying to move the one I did beforehand out of the way so you wouldn't see it, but we're going to be using this washi tape, and we're going to start by... Look at it, shake, shake, shake. Okay, so we're going to start by grabbing our cardstock, and I have on the inside the piece that I basically cut out. And this one, this square is actually, I want to say it's 3.5 by 3.5, something like that. And all we're going to do is take and line up the washi tape to cover the entire thing. Now this one would work with those All in Create washis where you could create a background. You could use that on this. I like this one because it's sparkly and it's really pretty, and I just thought it would make for a really nice Christmas card. And then anything that's up on top, I'm just going to trim it. You're not going to see it anyway once we get the shaker set up. But there we go. This is the clear not acetate, but basically the acetate that we're going to use for our shaker window. And now we're going to start putting everything together. So in the center, I've already kind of marked out my square. So I'm just basically doing what they call gutting out your paper, where you're cutting in the center and not going all the way edge to edge. And we're basically like creating like a Polaroid, right? Where you have that larger space at the bottom and then the shakers up at the top. And then that piece pops out. And then what will happen is we're going to create the shaker doing this part. I'm sorry. My brain, I was like, why did I... I can't believe... Oh, that's why. I was like, why am I using this pattern paper? Okay. Yes. This pattern paper on the other side, not just snowmen, it's just light snowflakes, okay? It's like a grayish color snowflake background. That's going to go on top of our craft color front page, okay? It's just going to give it a little bit of texture, so it's just not just a plain brown paper. And all I did was, on this one, instead of using the cutter, I just cut a little hole, went up to the corners, and cut it out with my scissors. And then anywhere where I needed to trim, you know, I did that. And so this is how it's going to wind up laying, creating a nice border around the edges. But first, what I want to do is go ahead and attach the foam. These are basically foam strips. With this particular foam package, we have two different sizes, and I'm going to show you the difference at the end. But we're going to take the backing off the front and the back of the acetate, and we're going to go ahead and put some glue around the window edge, and then we'll lay that down and let that dry. And then we're going to pull out our thin strips and start laying that out along the back. So basically creating the well for the shaker bits and the sequins, whatever it is you're putting inside for the shaker card, we're going to create a well for it to sit. And then because we want it to all be one even piece, once we do our square, we're going to also fill in using the same foam strips around the other portion of the card. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and keep adding the foam tape. Now, the first one I did, like I said, I used the larger of the foam tapes and it's really thick. So if you're going to use thicker foam, you just want to consider maybe hand delivering that particular card, because you don't want to ship anything that's like too thick, because that's just added money for you for postage. Okay. So we went around and created the outside frame, and then we're going to just add a few more pieces right here in the center, at the bottom, just to make sure it has even weight. And then, all right. And then I'm just pressing down, making sure it's nice and even. And any extra, I'm just going to put off to the side. And so right now what we're going to do is I'm going to fill in some of the sequins and little beads and stuff that I had from Pink Fresh. I think it was Pink Fresh. And then we're going to add some of these snowflakes and stuff from Doodlebug. These are like little bits. And then this one is from Catherine Pooler. It was just the right shade of blues, so I grabbed it. And then what we're going to do is take the backing off. And first I'm going to put down the glue on top of the foam for the background. So when we put it down, it'll hopefully attach and dry. And then I'd like to just to test it, make sure nothing's falling out. Now there was a little hole, which is what I found. So I was able to put those few pieces back in and readjust my backing so that way it wouldn't be a hole. And plus, once we lay it all down, it's going to be secured to the card front that it won't create a hole either. Okay, so now I'm going to start peeling off the backing. And just like I do with regular paper, I do put glue on the back of my foam. You guys have seen me do that many times. I just like doing that because it gives it, like I said, a little bit of time that I can kind of grab and move stuff around, because we want to get this lined up. And at the same time, I don't want to, if I mess up, I want to be able to pull it apart and fix it. Okay, so we're just pressing everything down and then shake, shake, shake. Nothing came out. And now we're going to put the tape on the back of our front piece. Add a little bit of glue and go ahead and put that down. Line it up as best we can. And if you do have to hand cut anything, if you use your ink tools to darken your edges, that could work too. We're going to use some Versaclear, and then we're going to stamp here as best we can right in the center. And then we're going to make a flag on each end. And then one more time. And then this will go right in the center. And you can do one of two things. I'm just gluing it straight down because there's enough foam on this entire project, but you could potentially use some foam under the sentiment that give it a little bit of a pop up. And then I'm just going to take a few of these bits and pieces from the Doodlebug shaker elements and glue them to the clear acetate around and by the sentiment. And because they're it's the weirdest texture, it almost feels rubbery. Almost like a eraser rubber, I can pick those up basically with my fingers, put a little bit of glue and place it right down. You could use a pickup tool if you wanted to. It's up to you. I just sprinkle them around almost like they got out, even though we know it's secure. That was fun. And, it's just basically exactly the same thing I would do with the sequins, but instead using the shaker bits, which are so pretty because they're basically like snowflakes. I think they're cute. Okay. And then I'm going to put my needle back in, and that's our card done. So that's shake, shake, shake. And then I'm going to bring the other one over. So those are the two cards. And I'm showing you here, you see how the left side one is like super thick and the other one is nice and thin? That's what I'm talking about as far as the foam. If you're using the thicker one, then I would definitely hand deliver. Okay. And now to finish this off, I'm just going to hit it with some white picket fence. This is the Distress Stain. I just think it's really pretty and it adds like a snow effect on the front of the shaker. And I think that's all we need. Did I do anything else? Oh, this speckled egg. Speckled egg is one of my favorite blues to use for splatters because it goes with so many collections across the board. And the light blue and the white, it's just perfect. It really is. And I love using this craft cardstock. I'm going to have to get me some more because I love how it turns out with the blues. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, please consider, as I always say, subscribing. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. And I will see you guys with our next video.